Namaste. This is David Hawthorne at astroview.com. Today is the 6th of May, 2019. The following is the Vedic astrology reading for the new Prince of Sussex, born today at 5:26 a.m. in Windsor, England. So this gives the Aries rising sign or ascendant at 18 degrees 34 minutes, with the exalted sun in the first house in Aries and Mercury in the first house. Mercury at 4 degrees 48 minutes. The ascendant or rising sign degree is 18 degrees 34 minutes. And the sun is at 21 degrees 15 minutes. We say that the Aries rising sign person is very dynamic, very courageous, very direct, and on the go. They're very good with their hands. We can see that Prince of Sussex is not just plain Aries, because he has Sun and Mercury in the first house. Sun, of course, is the king of the planetary cabinet. It's a royal planet in the first house. This gives absolute leadership. Sun is Atma Karaka, significator for the soul. This gives him what we call Kshatriya soul, warrior, the soul of a warrior. So it'd be very good for being in the military, for example. But it's a royal planet, so the royal prince. Mercury in the first house says he will be very good with communications, writing, language, literature, and he may study law, medicine, or finance, because of Mercury ruling the sixth house. But he would be good with writing, language, literature, computers, technology, intellectual property. So this is an exalted sun in Aries, and this is an exalted moon in Taurus. This is fabulous. It's a very powerful time in India when we have the exalted sun and the exalted moon. Moon in the second house gives him status through the fourth house of parents and property. He will have a tremendous ability to emotionally connect with other people, to comprehend, to understand. This also can give public favor. Mars ruling the chart is in the house of wealth, status, and family life. So he will have melodic voice, moon, and he'll be very courageous and direct with his speech as well. Rahu in the third house, in the third sign of Gemini, at 25 degrees 27 minutes, would make him very ambitious and very much focused on independence and doing things his own way. He'll be very persuasive, and this will give magnetic personality. The fourth house, the fourth sign, Cancer, ruled by the royal moon. This is the house of childhood, parents, property, fixed assets, domestic peace, and mother and grandmother. So moon ruling this house has gone into the house of wealth and status. Fifth house, fifth sign, Leo, ruled by the royal sun. So this will bring the fifth house significations into the first house. So he will have high education, male children, and successful investments. This gives royal mind. Sometimes it gives a PhD as well. Sixth house, sixth sign, Virgo. Seventh house, seventh sign, Libra. Eighth house, eighth sign, Scorpio. This is Jupiter retrograde at 29 degrees. Retrograde planets at the time of birth, such as Jupiter and Saturn, have no adverse effects whatsoever. Jupiter at 29 degrees is aspecting Mars at 29 degrees and vice versa. So this also connects his knowledge with the military and engineering. Jupiter's knowledge and education, the 8th house, is connected with research, language, mystical sciences, occult knowledge, and ancient knowledge. In the 9th house, we have the 9th sign Sagittarius. This is Saturn, 26 degrees, 21 minutes. And Ketu, K-E-T-U, the southern node of the moon, 25 degrees, 27 minutes. This is the house of Father, religion, and Guru. Ketu is Mokshakaraka, significator for spiritual advancement and enlightenment. Now, I'm glad that Rahu and Ketu are not at 18 degrees, because then they would be causing trouble in this chart. Ketu does have an impact on Saturn. They're only about a degree apart. Ketu in the 9th house suggests that he has a spiritual, enlightened father. Saturn in the 9th house gives a father who has a good work ethic. And because Saturn rules the 11th house, the prince will always gain from his father. In the 10th house, we have the 10th sign Capricorn, 11th house, 11th sign Aquarius. And 12th house is 12th sign Pisces. This is an exalted Venus in Pisces. So this connects the 7th house of relationships, partnerships, joint ventures, and marriage with the 12th house of foreign lands. So he can marry somebody from a foreign land or a foreign culture. He can have partnerships and joint ventures with foreign lands, international ventures. Now at this point, I'm going to overlay a scientific paradigm for reading horoscopes called Systems Approach to Vedic Astrology, which was developed by Professor V.K. Chowdhury in India. It's now being used by hundreds of astrologers around the world because it is scientific, accurate, relevant, practical, contemporary, and replicable. If you see any of our astrologers practicing systems approach, we will all give you pretty much the same reading because it's not based on personal preference or a hodgepodge of techniques. According to systems approach, there are 6 planets for Aries that would never cause harm. These include Sun, ruling the 5th house of mind and education and children. Moon will never cause harm. It rules the 4th house of happiness, childhood, parents, property, fixed assets. Jupiter will never cause harm. Jupiter rules the 9th house of Father, Guru, religion. Mars will never cause harm. It rules the 1st house of self, name, fame, health, appearance, personality, reputation, and longevity of life. Venus will never cause harm. It rules the 7th house of relationships. And Saturn will never cause harm. It rules the 11th house of income and friendships. Now, Aries rising sign has to manage Rahu and Ketu. Everybody has to manage Rahu and Ketu. Nobody escapes. These are mathematical ecliptic points in the zodiac. They cause the eclipse of the sun and the moon every year since the beginning of time. So if they can bring darkness to the royal luminary sun and moon, they can bring darkness into our lives. So we just have to manage them. We recommend Bhuta Yagya and Deva Yagya for planets that cause adverse effects. It's simply charities and chants, spiritual chants or morning prayers. So it's good for everybody to donate to charities for afflicted persons from time to time. And it would be good to listen to the chants for Shiva, S-H-I-V-A, on a regular basis as well. For Ketu, we donate to animal shelters for stray dogs on Thursdays. We help holy man, holy woman, or spiritual organization on Thursdays. And on Thursday, you can listen to the 108 names of Lord Ganesh, G-A-N-E-S-H. That's good for everybody's chart. Now for the Aries rising sign, we do not strengthen the 6th house ruler, Mercury. It can bring trouble into life. In the transit chart, it will bring lightweight, short-lived conflicts, disputes, mental tension, health issues, or financial issues. So they should never give the prince an emerald gemstone, and they should minimize the amount of green colors he uses in clothing and furnishings. Remedy for Mercury is to help children and students in distress on Wednesdays, and listen to the 108 names of Lord Vishnu, V-I-S-H-N-U, on Wednesdays. If people are not open to the Vedic chants from India, then they can just do morning prayers or whatever spiritual chants work for their own religion or tradition. Now let's see how these planets are truly operating. Mercury in the first house causes no harm because it's not at 18 degrees. This is not an arbitrary number. This number changes every 4 minutes of the day. It's very specific to the exact time of birth. 0 to 30 is possible. So this number is so important. It's called most effective point of every house. Any planet around 18 degrees will have an impact. And there's a 5-degree orb, so it starts at 13 and it goes up to 23. So Mercury is benign in this chart, which is good. This causes no trouble. Sun is within the 5 degrees of the most effective point, so its 7th aspect blesses the 7th house of marriage, and partnerships, and joint ventures. He will have marriage and relationships and partnerships and joint ventures with royal persons, and persons in the government as well. Moon is considered very well placed and exalted. It's only 15 degrees from the sun, so it's okay for the prince to wear white clothing and even a single pearl to strengthen the moon. Mars ruling the chart is in the last degree. 0 to 30 is possible. 25 to 30 is considered old age and weak. Old persons mean well, but they lack the power to protect and provide. So he can wear a red coral gemstone, C-O-R-A-L, 5 to 10 carats, as a pendant on a chain. Rahu at 25 degrees throws its 7th aspect on Saturn, and Ketu is within 1 degree of Saturn. So this Saturn has trouble. Saturn rules the 11th house of older siblings. So this denies older siblings, or can cause an eclipse or loss of an older sibling. Maybe his mother had a miscarriage or something when she was younger. Because Saturn's a favorable planet, he should wear navy blue colors. Dark blue and black colors are safe and favorable. And he could wear a blue sapphire gemstone on the middle finger of the left hand, or as a pendant on a chain. We want to strengthen the Saturn. This weak Saturn, because it's afflicted, may cause trouble with the teeth, neck, back, spine, knees, joints, or ankles. This can also cause worry and fear, impatience, and distrust of other people. And it causes some issues with income and friendships. So if we strengthen Saturn, we'll have much better results all around. It will give patience and perseverance. Now Saturn is in Sagittarius, so it's ruled by Jupiter, which is in the 8th house. 8th house is called Randra, means transformations and vulnerability. This is the house of setbacks, delays, obstructions, and disappointments. Jupiter, by the way, represents older brothers in a chart. So this weakens the chance for having an older brother. In fact, Jupiter is in old age degrees, and it's in the 8th house, so this is not good. And when the prince is older, he may have trouble with his liver, gallbladder, and hips if he's not careful. So he could wear a yellow sapphire gemstone on the index finger of the right hand, or as a pendant on a chain. So we definitely want to strengthen Saturn, and we want to strengthen Jupiter. I would strengthen Jupiter first because it's the landlord for Saturn. It's a dispositor. So no matter how much you strengthen Saturn, if we still have a weak Jupiter, it doesn't help Saturn. So strengthen Jupiter with a yellow sapphire, and then Saturn with a blue sapphire. Now Venus is in the 12th house, which is a Dustan Bhava, inauspicious house. Of the 12 houses in a horoscope, from the first house all the way around to the 12th house, only 9 of them are actually favorable. The 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 7th, 9th, 10th, and 11th, those are favorable houses. But the 6th house, the 8th house, and the 12th house are considered inauspicious houses. Planets going into those houses become weak. So this is a weak Jupiter and a weak Venus. Planets ruling the 6th, 8th, or 12th can, in some cases, not all, in some cases cause adverse effects. So for Aries, only Mercury causes trouble. The 8th house ruler, 12th house ruler, these rulers do not cause trouble. These houses do not contain what is known as a Multracone sign. If a Multracone sign falls in the 6th, 8th, or 12th, then that ruler becomes a functional malefic planet. The Multracone signs are 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 11. Aries for Mars, Cancer for Moon, Leo for the Sun, Virgo for the Mercury, Libra for the Venus, Sagittarius for Jupiter, and Aquarius for Saturn. That's actually where people generally are working things out in this lifetime, where the Multracone signs fall. So he will work out things on the level of his reputation, his health, his personality, work out things relative to parents, children, investments, health and finances, relationships, partnerships, joint ventures, marriage, father, guru, religion, income, and friendships. That's where things are being worked out this lifetime for Aries. So Venus in the 12th house becomes weak, and it rules the 7th house. So to improve relationships, partnerships, joint ventures, and for marriage, he can wear a diamond gemstone on the ring finger of the left or right hand. So we just want to do the twofold planetary remedial measures. We strengthen the favorable planets with color therapy, gemstone therapy, or the mystical pendant known as a kavach or kavacham, which is a silver medallion, a silver yantra, a mystical pendant. So that would be good for the prince as well. Then for planets that cause adverse effects, we do Bhuta Yagya, Deva Yagya, charities and chants. So Aries should take care of Rahu, Ketu, and Bud, Mercury. In the 1/9 divisional Navamsa chart, we look to see if planets are debilitated. This Jupiter is in its own sign of Pisces, which is good, but Sun here is debilitated. So you may have some weakness with the stomach, digestion, heart, blood, bones, immune system. So the ruby gemstone would also be good, especially if he wants to have children in higher education. So these are the main points of the chart for the Prince of Sussex. I wish the Prince and, of course, his entire family all the best in health, happiness, peace, and prosperity. Namah Shivaya.